Well, here we go again. I've got my gear to do this leak down test. Now, as I said to you before, just for those of you who are just catching up, this was my old leak down tester. Notice the gauge here is stuck, and the reason for that was in the bottom of the tester there was a Schrader valve. The actual hose that connected to the engine was for a compression tester, not for a leak down tester. So let me reach over here and get you the new one I got. Now this was I don't know, 140 Canadian dollars, and it's made by Lang. Oh, wait a minute, let's get this set up a minute. Oh, it's a bit softer there, that's good. So this is it. Now, this is the hose in question. No valve. You know, so no valve in that one. That's what we want. The Lang one is a bit prettier, but it's exactly the same principle. You put air in here, you regulate it here, and it comes out here. The difference between here and here is picked up on this gauge here. Right? Kind of easy. The Lang ones are actually identical to Snap-on. I'm sure they're the same company. It's too freaky to be false, if you see what I mean. But anyway, we're going to clip this on. But first of all, I've had the engine warmed up a bit, and it's nice and warm, so we're going to do a compression test first and compare our results. But there's something wrong, because, I don't know if you can see in here, I've had this engine running for about an hour, and I put another hose on. Probably can't see. I put another hose on here coming off the breather, so because I didn't want oil to go into the intercooler. And look at this, there is oil everywhere. That came out of that engine in an hour. That's way too much. Look at that. Look at that. Now, obviously, as it was going in under pressure, it's fumes, and the oil, the engine's absolutely blathered in oil. It's just, I just can't understand it. I went to see JP this morning. Because the steel's coming for the brake piston tool. You know, for the putting the lockdown ring on, so he's working on that. But anyway, we chatted about it, and he said, there's lots of theories going on the last video about why it's got so much back pressure. And the bores on the cylinder were new, they were rebored, and rebored to the piston. And of course, Claude, who did the boring, he marked each piston to say 1, 2, 3, 4. He had them actually super accurate. He measured the pistons and bored them to the piston, if you see what I mean. And JP said, what size were they? I said, I think they were 20 thou over. He says, do you think they put standard rings on a regular piston? And I thought, oh, could do. That would explain a lot. We won't know, doesn't win. We won't know until we take it out. So what we're going to do, we're going to take the air cleaner off, undo the glow plugs, and I'm going to test the compression on each cylinder and compare it, because I think I've got about 4 or 5 hours on this so far. The theory being is that if it's the rings haven't bedded in and it's letting air past the rings, clutching at straws there. I don't know. I think it's something stupid. I think it's so stupid, it's stupid from like Mr. Stupid from Stupidville. Let's get these plugs out. I won't film it. I'll show you 1 hour set it up. I think I've done it before, but we'll do it again. And then I'll do the test, and I'll show you the results. I've removed all the glow plugs, and I've put my adapter in here that JP made me. It's nice and tight. And now we're going to get rid of this because we don't need that for the moment. What we need this one. Yeah, that's better. They're a bit fiddly, they're not like regular connectors. Anyway, so we've got that on. I've got all the rest of the plugs out. Most importantly, I've taken the wire off the back of the injector pump. And now we're going to see what number 1 is. We'll do this one, then I'll repeat all 4 and come back with the results. So here we go. decent crank, wasn't it? I'll just open the window a bit. Well, imagine my shock. Can you see that? That is 350. Right, here's a surprise. What's on the scores? George Dawes. The first one I tested, I thought it was 350, which was kind of good. But I went back to it later, when I finished. So are you ready, boys and girls? Number one, when I tested it the second time, was 375. Number two was 380. Number three was 395. And number four was 395. Now, were my first results due to a low battery, or was it due to the rings getting bedded in? I think it's the rings. Obviously the compression's come right way up. Excellent. Now I know what you're going to say, so you can stop your comments below. Stop typing. You're going to be saying, ah yes mate, but it's got oil in the cylinders now. The compression's going to come up. Well, if it had oil in the cylinders, we wouldn't be able to see any of the smoke. Alright? We wouldn't. It would be a bookend of smoke. There'd be everything everywhere. We wouldn't be able to see. So I don't think it's that. I think we might eliminate these pistons. So the next test is to fit. The next test is to fit the leak down tester. Now this is really important. What we've got to do is set this engine to top dead centre per cylinder, if you see what I mean. Now I'm just going to set up and I'll show you how we do it. So we're going to turn the engine over the easy way without messing about with the crank down here. Jack one wheel up at the front, handbrake on, 5th gear, high range, diff lock off. And you can turn the engine over by turning the front wheel. So what we're looking for now is some valve movement here. There we go. So at the moment it's on number 4 firing stroke. We want to be on number 1 firing stroke. So what we want to see is these two valves rocking here, which means that this one is on its firing stroke, and that means both valves are shut. There's a clearance. At the moment, if we put the tester on, all the air will come out of the exhaust or the inlet. So let's turn the wheel. I'll tell you something, knobbly tyres have their uses now and again. It's ever so slow. Huh? So that's the exhaust valve going down. You can hear the air getting compressed out of number 1 cylinder. And when they start to rock, like that, we stop. And now we will fit the tool and test the pressure. I'll move the camera. Right, first of all, we've got to make sure that when we fit this machine here, tool, back this off so there's no air in here, because we don't want a sudden charge, tell it's Friday, can't you, of air going in. So now, come back a bit, now you're on big screen telly, we'll screw it in, and now notice I haven't got the pipe attached. Screw it up, which is what we usually do. We want this, I'm doing this backwards so don't worry about it, I don't know where the hell I am, I can't see. We want that to get into that yellow zone. I'll do it a bit more. Now I want to go fully £200. Is my compressor on? That would be a stupid thing. Let me go and check the compressor. Compressor was switched off. You can hear it rattling away. Right. And of course you have to pull this down. This is a locking cap. So when you pull it down, you can turn it. So let's do this again. Which way is it going? There. Now we want to set that to 0. There you go. We've got £130, and that's 130, 135 because I like to have a little bit more, you know. And so that's it. We're done. We're set. Push the button up. Let's do the leak down test. Now, let's see if we can let you see a bit more clearly over here. Right. So, we've got our adapter on here. We've got it at top dead centre, so these valves are rocking. So we know that the valves are closed. We are now going to proceed to clip onto here. Now we've got 20% leakage, and you can hear it out the crankcases here. Now, according to the book of words, it says here, no it doesn't, it says here, there will always be some leakage past the rings even in a new engine. Alright? The next one, we're going to do it fire in order. So this is 1. The next one we'll fire is number 3. Alright? So we're looking for these number 2 cylinder rockers to rock and roll. And it says going over the engine time and time again. There. Just to be sure. Ooh. It's got clearance on there, but it... Well, it's got clearance. I think I'm going to have to set these valves again. But anyway, there's clearance. Where's it? So many bloody tools in there. There we go. Clip that onto there. Clip this onto here. 20%. 20%. I don't know if you can see because it's upside down. Oh, I'm doing myself a mischief, wait a minute. Yeah, 20%. Let's have a look at the next one. So the next one we set is number 4. So we're going to watch when number 1 is rocking. Here goes. There. Let's clip the device in. 20%. Again. No problem. 20%. So the next one is number 2. So, right, let's turn the engine again. We're looking for number 3 cylinder to rock. There. And I'll come round again this side. It seems to be easier for these here. Are we still rolling? Oh, shit. 20%. Exactly. Exactly 20%. Good connections on there. Right, back in a minute. So what do you think? 20% isn't much, you know, for a leak down. In fact, it's next to nothing. But would it cause all that back pressure? I don't think so. I think there's something more to it than that. I honestly do. I'll tell you what I'm going to do. I'm going to do something stupid because we've got nothing to lose now. I'm going to set the valves whilst I can when the rocker box is off, and then put the glow plugs back in and fire it up again without the rocker box on. And if it's, see, this is the thing that's puzzling me. If it's compression gas getting through the cylinders, like when it's firing, we should have a bit of smoke coming through there, but we're not. We're not at all. Oh, it's an interesting. Let's do an interesting experiment. Let's get naked. No, let's give an indication whilst we've got this tool out to what a bad valve would sound like, because we can do it now. We're set up on number 2 here. What I can do is, because these valves should be rocking, which they are, what I'll do is I'll adjust them whilst you're watching, and you can listen to hear. I'll take the top turbo off and you'll be able to hear. I'll just do the inlet and then you'll be able to hear gas escaping, well, gas, compressed air, escaping through the intake manifold. Let me set up for that. Right, we've got set up now. Now you can hear gas is compressed air is getting into the cylinder, but that little amount of 20% should be easily coped with by the crankcase breather pulling air back into the intake. I'm not bothered about that. It's the bloody oil that's the problem. So this is to sort of replicate what a valve, if you have a bad valve, what it would sound like. So we want the intake, which is exhaust intake, this one here. What we're going to do is open this valve up. I'll close it down, should I say. There, did you hear it? Now, look at the gauge. I'll back it off again. Look. Now the air's holding that tight. Isn't that a good example? So if you had a burnt out valve, that's where the air would come out, through here. But it's not. And you can see how much I have to turn the screwdriver, if I can get it in my slot. See if you can keep your eye on the gauge and that at the same time. So watch the screwdriver. See? Isn't that clever? Proved nothing, but it proved that all the valves are good. So let me box all this lot up, because I think there's somebody there in the yard, and I'll adjust the valves.